Peace be with you. Let's talk a little bit about basic human nature that God informs us about in the Quran. So this applies to all of us. All of us are like this. And that basic human nature is that when we receive ease, we tend to become selfish, self-centered, uncaring, and lack of empathy. Now, even before we start talking about the Quran, we can easily see this, spoiled children, or even people in the Western governments who have the audacity to lecture the rest of the world about morality when, given what they have done over the last few hundred years. When it doesn't matter who we are, it doesn't matter if we're black or white or Arab or Chinese or whatever, all of us, once we gain power, once we feel easy, have it easy, once we feel safe, once we think that we are sitting at the precipice of success, all of us turn away from God. All of us, without a question, except those who are truly sincere to God, but we'll get to that. And this is what God teaches us in the Quran. In the 41st chapter of the Quran, verse 51, God tells us, "And when we show favor to a man, to a human being, insan, he turns away and withdraws himself. And when evil touches him, he makes lengthy supplications," right? He makes lengthy du'as. He prays to God frequently. And that's easy to see even in ourselves, right? I'm talking to Muslims. So if you are one of those Muslims, you're just kind of doing it part-time, you're not really truly in it, you're not truly sincere, imagine how you would feel if your child got cancer, right? You would be right down on your knees, you would be praying to God to change that situation. That's all of us. That is all of us. So God says, hey, look, you're insincere to me when I give you everything, but when I take some away, when I make you experience hardship, then you're sincere to me? This is basic human nature that we need to be aware of because we have to fix this. In the 17th chapter of the Quran, verse 83, God tells us, "And when we bestow favor on a man, on a human being, on insan, he turns away and behaves proudly. And when evil afflicts him, he is despairing." And that's what I just described. Again, in the 10th chapter of the Quran, verse 12, God tells us, "And when a person, a human being, insan, experiences hardship, they call on to us, whether they are laying down or sitting or standing. But when we remove the hardship from them, they go on as if they never called out to us on account of hardship that afflicted them," right? It's like as if you never prayed, as if you were never scared. You just forget about God. And then God says, "Thus, that which they do is made fair seeming to the musrifin, to the extravagant." And just a few short verses later, in the 10th chapter of the Quran, verses 21 to 23, God gives us a good example. It says, "And when we make people taste mercy after they experience hardship, look, they plan against our communication." So they want to do something else other than what God commanded. Say, "God is quicker to plan. Surely our messengers write down what you plan." And then this example is given, which I'll talk about briefly. God says, "He is the one who enables you to travel by land and sea. When they are in ships and sail on them in a pleasant breeze, they rejoice." So like smooth sailing, you're just like chilling, relaxing, everything is great. That's a metaphor for your life. "Then a violent wind overtakes them, and the waves surge in on them from all sides, and they become certain that they are surrounded, that they are encompassed about. They pray to God, being sincere to Him in faith." So you're like sincerely praying now. "If you deliver us from this, we will most certainly be grateful." Now imagine you're flying, right? You're on a flight, and it's a smooth flight, and you're just chilling, and all of a sudden you hit severe turbulence, and you think the plane will crash. So the plane is crashing, right? Every single person on that plane is praying, "God, please save me. I'll do anything. Anything." And God saves you, but then says, "But when He delivers them, look, they are unjustly rebellious in the earth. O people, your rebellion is against yourselves, an enjoyment of this world's life. Then to us will be your return, and we will inform you what you did." So if that plane lands, you go on as if you never prayed. That's exactly that is our nature. There's only one way to deal against this nature. In the 70th chapter of the Quran, verses 19 to 27, God says, "Surely man is created impatient, being greatly grieved when evil afflicts him, and stingy when good befalls him, except those who pray." So number one tool, prayer. "And those in whose wealth there is a fixed portion for him who begs and for him who is deprived." Number two, charity. "And those who accept the truth of Judgment Day." Number three, understanding that you will actually stand before God. "And those who are fearful of the punishment of their Lord." We have to be aware of the reality of God, and we have to be aware of our own shortcomings, of the pitfalls of our own nature. The one who created us is telling us about the pitfalls of our own nature, of our own psyche. We tend to do bad when we get everything. We become ungrateful when we get everything. And when we get scared, then we realize the reality. But as soon as we're not scared anymore, we forget again. So we have to pray. We have to be aware of the existence of God. We have to be aware that we are going to stand before God. And this is what God is telling us about our own nature. The one who created us knows us deeply, knows us very well, a lot deeper than we know ourselves. And we have to be aware of this. Peace be with you.